I still have this thing on my head for a few reasons. Number one, hey, they won after I put it on yesterday. And number two, they still weren't great. Like, sure, hey, we'll take it any way we can at this point in time. You win 3-1 over the Minnesota Twins. You get a win. That is the most important thing. But still major issues for the Toronto Blue Jays offensively as they run into outs twice in the early going with guys at third, Springer and Kiermaier, both getting hung out to dry in between third and home. Both should either take off to go home or get their tail right back to third, but instead they get halfway and stop and are like, uh-oh, that's a problem. They both get out, and both times there's no runs in those innings. Now, you're lucky you won this game 3-1, no doubt. But if it came back and you lost this game, the talking points that those would be ultra magnified. Because they won, we got to talk about some positives. And we will. George Springer, as much as that base running blunder stunk, and as much as Kiermaier's blunder stunk, they had good offensive nights. Kevin Kiermaier in the top of the third inning hits a solo shot. It was like an 82-mile-an-hour, was that a changeup or slider, on the inner half, and he turns on it, drills it into the seats in right field. A few batters later, after Springer was kind of a check swing numbered on the first baseline, Springer ends up legging it for a double. Bo Bichette then comes up, and he gets it was a meatball. Bottom line. And he crushes this thing to dead center field, and man, did he get a hold of it, because it is way gone. A 2-run shot for Bo Bichette, and the Blue Jays lead it 3-0 in the top of the third. You get a couple home runs, a hit with runners in scoring position. Okay, good stuff. And with Kevin Gausman on the hill, we all feel pretty confident about things. And he was doing great. Bottom six, though, gets into a little trouble. Right, couple guys on. Gives up a double. Dalton Varsho almost made the catch, but it was off the end of his glove. Garlick hit the ball, and who came in to score? Kirilloff comes in to score, and Canadian Edouard Julien ends up at third base in the play, and they have second and third, 1 out. They've already scored a run. It's now a 2-run ball game. Tying run is at second base. They bring in Eric Swanson. He walks Joey Gallo, the pinch hitter, on 4 pitches. And then he gets a full count to Michael A. Taylor. But I'm furious because I'm like, well, Michael A. Taylor can fly. So double play, probably not going to happen. And then the Jays got a little bit of a gift from the umpire. A splitter at the bottom of the zone, just below the zone. But he gets rung up on it for strike 3. It was the full count pitch. If that's an automated umpire, if that's a robot ump, that's ball 4. It's a 3-2 game. Bases still loaded. Swanson's walked 2, and it's only a 1-run game. But instead, it's a strikeout. There's now 2 out in the inning, and it's still a 3-1 game. And Eric Swanson ends up getting out of the inning with a ground ball to Bo Bichette, flips it onto second base, gets out of the inning, and that right there is your ball game. The bullpen for the rest of the game for the Blue Jays did a great job. Tim Mays did a fantastic job. Nate Pearson looked great. An inning pitched, only walked 1 guy, but got a strikeout in his clean inning. Jordan Romano allowed some hard contact, allowed 1 hit in his clean inning of work, but picks up save number 11 on the year. Eric Swanson goes an inning, walks a couple guys, but strikes out 2 in his clean inning of work. And Kevin Gausman, who got the start, got a little run support early, which is so rare for his starts, goes 5 1/3, only allows 4 hits, 1 run. Remarkable. Did walk 5 guys, which is weird for Gausman, but struck out 8 to go along with that, and it felt like he was marvelous today. Only 5 1/3, though. Because a lot of strikeouts and the deep counts with the walks. So that's why the pitch count rose as high as it did. But they did a job, right? Whit Merrifield had a couple hits. Oh, look at that. Whit Merrifield was 2 for 4. Kevin Kiermaier was 2 for 3. The runs scored, an RBI, obviously, on his home run that he hit. And then George Springer was 2 for 4. Bo Bichette was 2 for 4. But the Vladimir Guerrero Jr. struggles are a problem. Now, look, do I like that one hit? He had dead center field. It was right out of a guy with got runners in the corners and 2 out. Yeah, I do. But let's talk about that first AB, right? You have a guy at third. And George Springer with 1 out in the first inning. And we've all been talking about the miscues mentally by this Blue Jays team. And it was at the forefront in the first inning. Runner at third, Vladdy at the dish. A chopper, they have the infield in. And so if you're George Springer, with them having the infield in, that ball's got to get through before you go home. And Vladdy, it's a chopper to short. Springer goes halfway and stops. It's the last thing you want to do. He ends up getting in, I wouldn't even call it a rundown. The guy was just, I think it was Correa, was just like chasing after him, ends up tagging him out. I don't know what the hell Vladdy was doing. Where's he going on that play? Once you see Springer hung out to dry, you take off for second. The reason you do that is if they want to throw Vladdy and try and get it at second, Springer then fires home. And you might get a run out of it if Vladdy gets in a rundown. And if they throw it home, Springer might be safe. Then Vladdy trots into second base. But instead, Vladdy gets what? A third of the way to second base? Not very far. So once Springer's tagged out, they fire it onto first, and they get Vladdy out as well. It's the piss poor base running that's an issue. I am baffled. I'm sitting here right now after a Jays win and talking like this. But it's the stuff that against the Orioles, against the Rays, you were doing those things. And you were losing because they are better teams than the Minnesota Twins, who are somehow, some way, a game over 500 and leading their damn division. You sure you can win games against teams like this? When you play the better teams, and the Jays, we talked about it a while back now, the schedule they have. They have the Twins, they have the Brewers, they have the Mets, the Astros for 4, the Twins again, the Orioles, the Rangers. And the Rangers just beat the snot out of the Orioles 12-2 tonight. Against those teams, the blunders you made today will lead to a loss. So you have to find a way to clean that stuff up. And if that means, if a chopper to short with Springer at third and Vladdy hitting, chopper to short, he looks Springer back, he goes to first, you get the out. Unfortunately, the run doesn't cross, but at least you have a guy at third and 2 out. And with the Kiermaier situation, the exact same thing happened, except this was a chopper to third, and I thought Kiermaier, he took off on contact. And I'm like, hey, you got the speed, beat it out, make it a tough throw, make it a close play at the plate. But instead, he full on sprints, stops, and I'm just like, what's going on here? Right? Because with that play, it was with 1 out, Kiermaier gets tagged out, and then you have a guy at first base and 2 out, which is a lot less menacing than having a guy at third with great speed in Kiermaier and 2 out. So those situations will come back to haunt you. Look at the 9th inning. You had first and second, nobody out. You couldn't get any tack-on runs. You're lucky it didn't come back to haunt you. They got to be better at this. Now, is today successful because they got a win? Sure. I can get behind that for right now. If the sloppy stuff continues, it can't happen. Okay? But a win is a win right now for this team. They desperately needed it. They found a way and just got one. What can you do tomorrow? Because clearly, Springer wasn't happy with his blunder. Kiermaier was shaking his head constantly after that blunder. And John Schneider was talking to George Springer. So clearly there's that conversation because they know what's going on. They had this closed-door meeting. I don't know what was said. But they went out there today and they got a win. We move on to the next one. You had your ace in the hill today. He gave you everything he had. He got it done. Tomorrow, Chris Bassitt gets the start for the Blue Jays. It's a 2:10 first pitch tomorrow, by the way. So Chris Bassitt gets the ball for the Blue Jays. Pablo Lopez gets the ball for the Minnesota Twins in Game 2. The Jays have 2 cracks at this. You have a chance to win a series for the first time in God knows how long. Get it done tomorrow. Don't let it go to the finale. Bassitt, Lopez, 2:10 tomorrow in Minnesota. All right, so you know what, guys? That is going to do it for this one. If you enjoyed the video and the win, but not really how it happened, smack the like button. I do appreciate it. Hit the subscribe button. You guys not already. Comment down below your thoughts on the video, thoughts on the game. Would you like, would you not like from today's game for the Toronto Blue Jays? Twitter, Discord, Instagram, TikTok, all that stuff is down below. So check up there. If you check out that stuff, if you have not done so already. And I will talk to you guys Jays edition, of course, tomorrow. I guess late afternoon. Jays, Twins, Game 2 of the 3-game set in Minnesota. Chris Bassitt, Pablo Lopez, 2:10. First pitch there in Minneapolis. Hoping to talk about a series W tomorrow. because it would be nice, and a clean win would be perfect. Thank you guys so much for listening and watching. I hope you enjoyed the video and the W today, of course. We'll talk to you guys then.